7-0? That's inexcusable. That means the team gave up on you. It's really hard to lose 7-0 in MLS. Really hard.
All right, let's talk about the LA Galaxy, because this is crazy, and we're gonna use a tweet from one of our friends of the show, Matt Doyle, who has been doing the hard work writing columns about MLS for feels like 20 years.
Hey, now. for an eternity.
And so Matt says, last weekend, this was against my Sporting Kansas City, the Galaxy became the first ever team in MLS to lose a game without conceding a shot. It was an own goal in that game. They were actually pretty good in that game. The Galaxy just couldn't find their finishing boots. Now, that was last weekend. This weekend, the Galaxy tied the record for the largest margin of defeat. They lost 7-0 to the New York Red Bulls.
That's just
which, yes.
That's unacceptable. In MLS, that's unacceptable. We're talking Chivas USA.
How do you lose a game without conceding a shot? Like, listen, let me clarify this. Not just a shot on goal. Kansas City didn't have a shot. Like, they didn't even, I mean, if you would have told me at halftime, if I was on the team, like, hey guys, we didn't even have him get a shot.
And we're going to win this game.
Yeah, well, that would be wild. But I would can somebody just launch one from midfield and just hit the goalkeeper's hand so we can just get that out of the way and keep going? It's embarrassing. But so you have that. That's embarrassing. Then to your point, you lose 7-0, the largest margin of defeats in league history, while also there's one more thing here. While setting the record for a winless streak to start the season, they have 0 wins, 3 draws, and 9 losses. Chuck, when they won MLS Cup last year, this is 5 months ago, by the way. They went for this is the capitulation is crazy. They only had 8 losses all season last year. 8 losses. They already have 9. Yes, I know that Ricky Pooch isn't there, and that guy is clearly a main catalyst for them. They lost Dejan Joveljic. Well, they sold him to Kansas City for $4 million. I don't know why they did that. Now they can say, salary cap this, and I think you figure out a way to make that work somehow, because they look really, I don't know. They're just not a shell of themselves in 5 months. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know where you go from here. This is rock bottom.
Could you fire a coach that just won MLS Cup 5 months ago? Because
what is the quickest amount of time, or the shortest amount of time after winning an MLS Cup that a manager has been sacked? Well, what does that look like? When is that? What is the
like how much leash do you give someone after they just won? You have to give them.
There's no way it's happened within a year.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know how you could. That has to buy you some currency. However, didn't Leicester City fire Claudio Ranieri
after they won the Premier League? No,
after they won the Premier League. I thought they did. They were in the Champions League, and he just won FIFA Coach of the Year, and then he got sacked because they were in a tough spell. They actually did okay in the Champions League, but were struggling domestically in the Premier League. And I thought at that moment, if Claudio Ranieri, who pulled off the miracle of all miracles.
Well, they sold a lot of players too, right? So at that,
right. They did.
It's a different team.
Of course. But if that miracle of winning the Premier League against all odds, winning FIFA Coach of the Year gets you, and you still can't have a little bit of, I was like, well, then nobody's safe. If Ranieri isn't safe within a year of a job.
That's also Premier League, right?
I get
this
it,
MLS,
where nobody's safe.
Everybody's supposed to be like this with all the rules in place. There's not supposed to be any team that is leaps and bounds ahead of someone, especially when you're talking about the Premier League, the top 5, 6.
I get it, but
where's the loyalty?
This guy won you something you won't even sniff the Premier League trophy in the rest of your whole goddamn history. This guy won it for you, and wow, that's like, thank you very much. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
but in MLS, we've seen a real shift in these long-term managers, like being okay with mediocrity or even below average performances year after year, right? We used to, back in the day, coaches could stay in a job for 3-4 years, being bottom of the barrel in Major League Soccer. And you'd wonder, do the owners give a damn about these clubs? Is there no pressure? And then we're starting to see, okay, now teams are quick to say, if you're not delivering in 18 months, we're moving on. And before it was 3 years. So Is it 6 months now for a Galaxy?
Okay. So yeah, here's the question for everybody listening and or watching. But for people that are watching live right now, you have to answer me in the comments. How long do you give the coach? How long do you give Greg Vanney? Try to be as unemotional about this as possible. He just won you MLS Cup. You're missing a few of your best players, like Paintsel and Peck didn't play this weekend, right? Ricky Pooch is out with an ACL injury. You lost Joveljic. Like be realistic here. Now, of course, you're going to get emotional responses, but I'm trying to ask you to be as unemotional as possible. Now, the crazy part, Chuck, is that before their Gold Cup break in MLS, the Galaxy play away to Philadelphia. Not going to be easy this midweek. They're home to LAFC, so you have El Tráfico happening. You're away to San Diego. San Diego's red hot right now, and shout out to them and Mikey Varas and everybody at the club for having a real identity right out of the gates and making some good signings. And then San Jose at home, that's not easy. Bruce has turned the club around, and they're the highest scoring team in MLS. And they're still the highest scoring team in MLS with the Red Bulls scoring 7 on the Galaxy. And then you're home to Real Salt Lake, who have a red hot Diego Luna. Hold on. Can we pause to talk about Diego Luna? If you haven't seen his goal against FC Dallas this past weekend,
what a goal.
Go find it. This guy's on fire. Confident. We say it probably once a podcast, but confidence is hell of a drug. And when you have it and you have the talent that Diego Luna has, in addition to that, then you're scoring goals like the one he scored against FC Dallas. Sick, by the way. Sick goal.
Yes, sick. I absolutely love seeing where he is now. After one call up, Pochettino gave him that confidence. And then he said, I'm willing to die for this opportunity. You get that from him. And so now he's on a rocket ship. The question now is, this summer, does he get sold? Or January? Do you make a move in January? Do you stay till the World Cup and make the move after the World Cup? Because I've been in the same position. I had a phenomenal Confederations Cup. I had been doing the business with my club for a season and a half. I felt that I was ready for that next step, and I wanted that next step ahead of a World Cup, and the year ahead of before the World Cup. So, or going into the World Cup, you want that competition every day so that you're even better for the World Cup. You're in a better position because you're challenging yourself, and it's not going to be easy. Nothing's guaranteed, but you're betting on yourself and you're betting on the people around you to put you in the right position to succeed. If Diego Luna went to a massive club, is that the right decision? If you already have players in place that are going to play, or do you go to a club that needs your position, is bringing you in to be that guy, and then it's on you to bring it every day in training and to perform? I think he's ready for that next step. But it's obviously critical that he goes to a club that is in need of his quality, of his position, a player of his ability. And then where is that? What does that club look like? Where are they in the table?
All right, Luna with goals in 3 straight games. He's got 4 in his last 3, 6 in his last 6. Kid is making the magic happen. Let's just finish this off with the Galaxy. I know I've got some comments there about Greg Vanney. When I talk about Philly away, LAFC at home, San Diego away, San Jose at home, RSL at home before the Gold Cup break, they could, in theory, Chuck, still be winless heading into that. And that is where it has to be discussed, I think. I think you definitely give him to the Gold Cup break. And Dalton had a good point. He's just not making adjustments. I'm paraphrasing Dalton's comment. If Greg Vanney isn't making the necessary adjustments to the situation and his coaching staff aren't, then and you can see that maybe something else should be working, or there should be, I don't know. I think that you give him to the Gold Cup break. You see how he does in the next 5 or 6 games leading up to that. And then you take a really hard look at is he the best guy going forward coming out of that break? Or has ultimately comes down to this. Have you lost the locker room? Have you lost them? Which is crazy because they're on the heels of winning. 5 months ago, they were MLS Cup champions, won their 6th title, the most in MLS history. And I can't believe how fast everything is falling apart.
It is. It's a shocking fall from grace. I can tell you that. But I go to LA Galaxy, right? they're probably still the most known club in America just because of Beckham and that influence. And then the league went up, the DPs went up, and it felt like LA Galaxy were always the team that the rest of the world knew about because of that influence. And if you hold them to that standard, Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti won a Champions League and was sacked the next year, right? We have had precedents of like big managers doing that.
Sure.
Steve Sanson was the last MLS Cup winning manager to be fired the season after, right? So and that was in 2006.
2006.
That's crazy.
But the Galaxy did it. I mean, I guess you're trying to say if the Galaxy are the Real Madrid of MLS.
Right. They've done it before.
Right?
So
you got to do it. You're out.
And this is the business now.
The standards are too high. You're out.
Greg Vanney is a great coach. He's proved that he can win in multiple places. He's done a good job. But this is the business. If you don't deliver, teams move on. So this is a record I don't think I've seen. I've never seen a start to a season like this. So that means you have failed to come up with a solution, right? So we're talking, like you always say, plan A, plan B, plan. You have to figure out, okay, what are the strengths of the guys that I have? How 7-0? That's inexcusable. That means the team gave up on you. It's really hard to lose 7-0 in MLS. Really hard. Because all the teams have the same restraints. So you're not having a Real Madrid versus a Leicester City. It's just not happening in this league. That for me signals players have given up. They rolled over, and that is a sign of you losing the locker room.
Oh, look at you. You got to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. So if you want more average to good content, then you know where to go find it. Go peruse our channel, then hit like, then hit subscribe, and of course, turn on your notifications so that you never miss a show. We'll see you next time.